Hello, everyone. Welcome to Horror Flick Chicks podcast. We have a special episode today as we celebrate Women's History Month and National Reading Month. I'm Angie. I have Sonia and Sandra with me. And
Hi.
what a better way to celebrate than welcoming our guest, Lauren Komer. Lauren Komer is the founder and co-owner of The Twisted Spine, located right here in Brooklyn, New York. The Twisted Spine is New York City's first bookstore focusing on horror and dark literature. Yes.
Love it.
The Twisted Spine opens back in September and is not only a bookstore, but has a full espresso cafe, a beer and wine bar, and has a quaint garden. I loved it. Welcome, Lauren,
Thank you
to
so
the
much.
show. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, I went to your opening and it was the most amazing thing ever. The space looks fantastic. I know you had a lot of help putting it all together. So, let's get into it since we wanted to know about like what inspired you to open up the horror focused bookstore and walk us through how you and your partner designed the shop because I know you had a lot of help from family and friends. And so,
Yes.
give us some background.
Yeah, totally. Thank you again so much for the invitation. It's also Women in Horror Month on the literary side, so even
Yes.
perfect. Um, yeah. So the idea started. So I moved to New York. Actually, I don't have a literary background. My background is actually in science of all things. Um, so I moved to New York City for grad school, and I was getting my PhD at Weill Cornell up on the Upper East Side. And so being in lab means lots of long hours of lots of doing like very monotonous things. So I was looking for something to kind of keep me awake, while I'm doing these long hours. And I really fell in love with horror fiction podcasts. So there's a lot of really great podcasts out there with really wonderful stories. I particularly really love the Magnus Archives and Old Gods of Appalachia. And I really got hooked. That was for me, that was like my gateway into horror. I definitely read, growing up, but it was more as, getting my PhD that I really truly fell down the rabbit hole. And at the time, I was like, oh, New York City must have, a specific bookstore for horror books. I really want to go pick up an actual, like, physical book.
Yep.
And I was completely shocked to find that New York does not have a specialty bookstore for horror. And it was something that really stuck with me throughout my PhD. And after I graduated, I started talking to my partner, Jason. And I was like, I really feel like this is something that could do really well in the city. And he's a born and raised New Yorker. So he, really like, he loves the community aspect. He's like the film like junkie of the two of us. He like really knows all the horror films. And so we decided that this is something we wanted to try. And so we started as a pop-up. We did that for about a year. And immediately the horror community in New York was amazing. They're like, oh my gosh, like where is your store? Where's your store? We're like, oh, we don't have one yet. And it was really their enthusiasm that we were like, okay, I think that there is, the community and the appetite for this. And that's kind of what like drove us to opening a lot sooner than we were expecting. And so we moved forward into opening in September. And yeah, it was very much only worked because of the community and family and friends. We launched a Kickstarter over the summer, and the response from that was really awesome. We reached our goal, which was crucial for us to be able to get all the equipment and supplies we needed to be able to open the shop. The store itself was actually a doctor's office, an esthetician's office before we like
Ah,
took over. So it had hot pink walls, white granite, bunch of different little waiting rooms. Like it was like not at all what it is now.
that is
So it was pretty much like we got the lease, we signed in, and then we just immediately started like taking down drywall. And it was a really family affair. My family came and helped. We had some contractors fall through at the last minute, and my uncle, who does contracting in Colorado, came out and saved the day and like helped build the bar. My dad built all of the tables. Jason and I like pretty much took down all the drywall. I put up all of the ceiling tiles that you see in the shop.
nice.
So it was definitely a labor of love, and I could not be more just like totally overwhelmed in the best way by the community response. Everybody has been so gracious and lovely, and it's been just really wonderful to know that there's other people who felt the same way, that they also wanted, a home for horror in New York City.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I have to make
Yeah.
my way down there. We
Yeah.
keep saying we're gonna go and stay with Angie for the weekend so we can go and visit the Twisted
Yes, that
Spine.
would be so
Yeah.
I'm,
fun.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
We're on the outskirts of New York City,
Yeah, we're all from New York, born and raised,
New
but
York City, yeah.
we're I live in Westchester
They
County.
moved to the boonies, so we say.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get that.
Texas is further up in the boonies,
We
but
got
so it's
married
kind
and
of
the
hard.
kids and
Yeah,
the
totally.
Yeah,
house, and so we're like,
getting into the city and even Brooklyn is can
Oh
be a
yeah,
little bit of a
totally.
challenge, but we plan to do
but
it. I'm so
yes.
excited.
Yay.
We watch all the time on Instagram. You have like great events and all that.
Thank
So
you.
super excited to visit one of these days. But I have a question.
Yeah.
Was there a specific book or author that made you fall in love with horror literature?
Totally. For me, what really got me hooked on the horror storytelling was actually the podcast, which I think is kind of unusual. I think a lot of people like come to horror either from like the movie side, which is like
Hmm.
honestly, I'm actually kind of a horror weenie when it comes to movies.
Ah,
I think what I like about the literature is that I can control how scary it is on the page because you're kind of building it in your brain. And it's same thing with like the audio. For me, it's not quite as like
Mm.
intense as that visual component. So for me, what truly got me hooked was Magnus Archives, I would say. Like that, listening to that, and then the Old Gods of Appalachia, Welcome to Night Vale back in the day. Like a lot of these like really great audio like fiction push the boundaries in a way that I hadn't read stories like that before, and also are like they make the queer community just part of the story. It doesn't have to be the full story. It's just like, yeah, and that this is like one of the queer characters. And that's something I also really appreciated is it doesn't have to be it's everybody's just part of the story. Um and then when I was like really starting to dive into like reading the literature, for me, there's a lot of really great local horror authors. Once I was like I wanted to kind of expand my knowledge into what I wanted to read and, kind of start prepping for the bookstore. Um, we have three people who support us all the time at the bookstore. I love them so much. You'll see Clay McLeod Chapman at the shop all the time. He practically lives at the store. So he's an excellent author. He's written, his most recent was Wake Up and Open Your Eyes. And then he has a horror romance coming out this fall, which is also
cool.
really exciting. And then Nat Cassidy, who his most recent book, When the Wolf Comes Home, is really excellent. He even got like blurbs from Stephen King, which is really cool. And then Rachel Harrison is also local, and her most recent book, Play Nice, she's like a New York Times bestseller. Like the three of them are like such great ways to like get into horror. And they've been such big supporters of this store. We're so lucky to have like such like hard hitting talent so close to home.
Awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. So you're not a big horror movie girl.
I have actually grown into it a lot more, but I have to be completely honest that I was a total weenie when I started. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I'm the weenie of this group.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes, that's true.
it's funny. Yeah, like I feel like it's one of those things that your tolerance builds up as you like watch more things.
Yeah.
But like when I was first starting, I think that what I really love is I really love John Carpenter and like The
Oh
Thing,
yeah.
and like he does a
Mm.
really good job of portraying scientists, and also has just like a little bit of enough cheese that it's not too
Right.
really get under my skin and keep me up at night. It's like
Right.
that. It's like the perfect balance for me of being like really like spooky and intense, but like doesn't like get to the line of like where I have to like leave the light on.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, like Angie said, she's the weenie of the group here. Sonia and I are like we'll watch pretty much
Although
anything.
I have to say, after doing this for many years, Lauren, we've been doing this a long time,
Yeah,
and these girls have really helped me get through the scaries. Let's just say over many many
yeah,
years. So
totally.
now when things are kind of scary and creepy, I'm the one laughing at things when
So funny.
people and audience members are like, "Oh my God," and I'm like, "Ha ha ha." So I think I've grown.
We wrote rubbed off on
Oh yeah,
you.
definitely.
It is.
Yeah, there's a great book actually. It's called Horror for Weenies. It's by Emily Hughes.
Oh
And it's
yes,
great for
yes.
people who are just starting out of their journey
Just
because it gives you the synopsis of everything. And so you can like talk intelligently. It even says like, things to say at parties about like certain things like hereditary or
oh,
whatever. So you can like be a part of the conversation, but you don't have to
oh,
like watch the
I think I
specific
still need
movie.
to pick that book
Yeah,
up.
I
Yeah,
think so too.
it's great. Emily is the best. And yeah, the book is it's awesome. I love it so much.
Oh,
No,
that's awesome.
yeah.
All right, so I have the next question. So, if someone walked in to your store for the first time, what book would you hand them?
Is this like someone who's never read horror before?
Um, it could be someone who's never read horror, someone that's new to reading horror, and maybe
Yeah,
just read like you know, the more popular like Stephen King and things like
totally.
that.
I can see how it would depend on the person, right? Because if somebody
Right,
tells you they're more into mystery, then you might suggest something,
right.
and then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, it's often like probably our two most common questions we get is I'm new to horror, where should I start? And then the other one is what's the scariest book you have at the store?
Oh,
So
nice.
you always get like both extremes.
Okay.
And yeah, so I think a lot of it is talking to each person about what they like reading. So like my mom, for example, was kind of shocked when I told her I wanted to open a horror bookstore because like, it's not like it wasn't really something that like I wasn't like a really spooky kid or anything in particular, but um she was saying that for her, she loves historical fiction, for example. So for her, what I recommended was Lone Women by Victor Laval, who's actually another local author. He's amazing. He teaches at Columbia. And it's actually 90% historical and like just like a smidge with like the supernatural. And it's all about back in the 1800s when there was like all of the frontiers people going to Montana, they actually would allow single women to go and like buy land, and it could be black women too, which of course at the time was like very,
Yeah.
unusual. And so the story is about this woman who moves from California to Montana, and then there's a little bit of like this kind of like supernatural element that's like attached to it. And that one's a great one for people who like historical but maybe aren't used to it. And then you also have all the classics like Frankenstein, especially after the Guillermo del Toro
Oh,
film that
yeah.
just came out. We are
Mhm.
selling so many copies right
Wow.
now. We also do a horror classics book club, which is really fun. So like it's like all, Dracula, Frankenstein. I'm going to be doing The King in Yellow for here in March, which is written by Robert Chambers, who inspired H.P. Lovecraft into writing.
Nice.
So the classics are always a really great place to start. And then another great author is Grady Hendrix, who's like one of like probably the top horror authors at the time. And he does like humor with his books as well. And that helps a lot of people when they're just
Right.
like starting out. So it's again, nothing too scary. It does a good blend of that having those chills and then also like working into it. So those are usually where I tell people to start. Whereas also like depending on like how far you want to go, there's like Andrew Joseph White, who has written a lot of like YA horror, but like is technically kind of does a good like you don't have to be YA to enjoy YA horror. It just usually means it's not as extreme, and so that's also
Right.
another good place to start. Sorry, I could ramble about authors
No,
forever.
those,
No, no,
those
that's
are all
No,
fine.
this is
great.
great.
That's just like us with movies.
Yes, exactly.
Right, exactly.
I love that you said that you like to sometimes start with the classics. Because I feel the same way with movies. I mean, I guess some people might think the 80s are classics because it's been a long
Seems
time.
like
But the
so
80s,
far away.
the 80s, not for us, but
No.
Sure.
80s horror movies are great. But I love like me and my sister grew up watching the old like Universal Dracula and Frankenstein and the
Yes.
Mummy, and then the comedies with Abbott and Costello, and like we love those.
Yeah.
I always love recommending those kind of movies to people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think those are
exactly.
so fun, and those are like the beginning of
Yeah.
everything we have now.
Yeah, exactly. And then everything, just becomes a variation. They have all these really awesome, like revisionist history stuff that's coming out too. So we have this really great book. It's called The Glowing Hours, and it's a revisionist history about the maid of Mary Shelley and how she like helped inspire the writing of Frankenstein. So like that was a really awesome.
Okay.
We did our launch party. So yeah, it's just like it is cool to see how like you take these ideas and they just keep kind of reinventing themselves. And it all kind of stems from the classics.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah, of course, of course. The next question is, what is your current best-selling book?
yeah, so definitely depends. I mean, obviously like Stephen King is still, a great
Okay.
for a lot of us it's how we got into horror. He still sells really well at this store. It's been so snowy lately. The Shining has been selling very well.
Oh,
We have like a winter horror table, so like that's
Also, you have that great fireplace for folks to
yes.
sit in,
Oh, it's
and
so cozy. It's
so
wonderful.
cozy.
Um, so that one's been good. We've been selling a lot of Tananarive Dew lately too. Especially in February was we were celebrating, Black History Month, so we were doing a lot of like championing Black authors, and her most recent novel, The Reformatory, is excellent. It's so good. That's another one. Who else have we been selling a lot of lately? We always sell another local author that I love that we can't keep on the shelves is Root Rot by Saskia Nislo.
Okay.
They're a big movie person too. They would be awesome to have on the podcast. They actually come and they do sometimes we have a projector and screen in the store. And so Jason, since he's more of the movie buff, he often will organize like screenings where people either he will like introduce a movie or we'll have like guests come in and introduce movies. And Saskia's done a couple of those for us. And I love their book Root Rot. It's incredible.
nice. Awesome.
Okay.
I have another question here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite horror movie adapted from a book?
I this was tricky. I had to think about it for a while. Um, I think which it's probably is an interesting pick is American Psycho. Um,
Oh,
Yeah.
so I really enjoyed the movie, and what's crazy is that the book is actually even more extreme than
Oh yeah.
the movie. Um, and it's kind of interesting, like when you look up the history about the book, because when it came out, there's a lot of boycotting. People were like protesting at bookstores that were selling it. It was extremely divisive at the time, and then the fact that it's just like so gruesome, like that the book itself is like that they don't even like depict it in the full,
Mm.
explicitness. It's interesting, sometimes how things can be even more explicit in a book that you like couldn't really show on the screen.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like a good example. We have it in our what we call our splatterpunk section, which is our most extreme graphic, violent,
oh, okay.
or sexual content section. Um, yeah, and it's also I think interesting. Like you keep hearing murmurings of them doing like a remake of it, and like just hasn't
Yeah,
like it hasn't really happened yet.
I know.
Yeah, I
I
feel
was
like
gonna, men-
go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was gonna mention that I've heard that they were gonna remake that movie.
Yeah,
So I feel like when they remake movies, a lot of the time they make it grittier and gorier, like horror movies.
yeah,
The remakes are
exactly.
always like worse.
Yeah,
So if they do that, maybe it'll be closer to what the book is. Who knows?
yeah, and that's what I think. I think it's also just hard getting people to sign on. It's such an intense like thing. And also the other movie is Christian Bale did such a great job. Like it's hard to think of being able to do another performance of similar. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I also like there's like that's another one that's kind of even spawned like other, is kind of category in and of itself. We have like a lot of like kind of things that compare themselves to American Psycho. So there's a
Mm.
book called Mayfly by CJ Lead, which is kind of supposed to be like a female American Psycho. And that's like I really love that book. That would be one that I'd love to see made into a movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that
That'd
kind of
be interesting to see a
I was
female
gonna
like
I was
that.
gonna say
Yeah.
didn't they have an American Psycho 2 with Mila Kunis?
I was thinking the same thing.
I think I
Oh
might have
yeah.
seen it once, but I don't really remember it, so it must not
I
be
think it was more like a comedy though, from what I remember.
right.
oh
Okay.
really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I don't think it was supposed to be, but it was pretty funny.
Oh no.
That happens a lot in horror.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lauren, would you say would that be the book that you would not what would be the book that you would refuse to recommend lightly if someone came in and
Yeah.
maybe didn't have as much experience in the horror genre.
Oh yeah, I would not start with that. Anything on the splatterpunk that we actually it's the farthest
In
like
the
top
back.
right
Yes.
corner, like, and we keep it up
It's the one
high.
I went to when I first
Yeah,
got
exactly. So
in.
we keep it up high so kids don't necessarily like grab for it, and then we also keep it in the back so it's at the farthest. We try to keep it kind of where things are like we have the comedy table pretty close to the front and classics and everything, and then it gets the more hardcore sections are more in the back. We were even talking about it'd be fun to like get chains or something, like make it like extra. Like, okay,
Like
now this is
or like
crazy.
or a a locked in
Yeah.
section.
So
That's
yes,
funny.
anything there, I would not like I always have to be very careful with. And also like some of the dark romance too, depending on the person. It can be pretty explicit. It's got a lot of like trigger warnings,
Yeah.
things
Right,
that aren't my vibe
right.
for like romance per se, but like
Yeah.
some people are very, the mafia romance area is like very popular right now. And
Mm.
some of it, isn't necessarily to my taste, but and I would definitely want to make sure people know what they're getting themselves into for that type of thing. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So I would say, yeah, anything the splatter. There's like a book called Moonflow that's done really well, which is kind of like this trans psychedelic mushroom trip that has also every trigger warning in it that you could possibly think of.
Mm.
Yeah. So I would yeah, anything in the splatter, I would say like let's start with something else before we move into that stuff.
Okay. I have a kind of piggyback question off of
Yeah.
that, since you kind of mentioned it. Do you have a lot of kids that come into the shop?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and we have a whole kids section. So we have there's a lot of really cute like board books like My Little Boo or like Room on a
Oh.
Broom. So like and also like kids I think start like with like a morbid fascination from a pretty young age. My niece, for example, when she was like 2 years old, would ask my uncle for she's like, I really want the story about the woman losing her head. And she just like loved that, just like loved that type of like
Ah,
stuff. So I feel like there's definite appetite for like those types of things. Edward
yeah.
Gorey has these gorgeous illustrations that are like kind of a comedic, creepy. And so yeah, we do have like a pretty decent like children's section. We have a lot of families and strollers coming in to like get out of the cold right now. So
Yeah.
that's also really fun. So kids will come in for a hot chocolate and they love the skull mugs and yeah, it's
Oh, nice.
Aw.
Oh, that's nice. Because I have my oldest daughter's 12,
yeah,
and she's into horror movies. She reads, but she's not reading horror books.
sure,
She reads kind of just kind of comic-y kind of books.
totally,
But she does love horror movies, as we watch them all the time. But I'd like to get her into reading some more horror books. I'm
yeah.
gonna have to go. I'm telling you again. I'm gonna have to go downstairs and bring her
Yes.
so we can peruse the store.
Totally. Yeah, no, that's the thing too, is like, I think any reading is good reading, right? So like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what we try to advocate for with parents, I just got back from a book selling conference and we had a whole panel about scary stories for kids and like how to like foster that. And a lot of it is not like, gatekeeping, like graphic novels is reading, anything with like that type of stuff is still reading. And then adults and kids alike people who like horror movies, a lot of it is they haven't been exposed to horror books because it's not somewhere that like a generalist bookstore can really expand upon. And so they might just not have found books that they realized that they liked. So like it's been really gratifying. We have a lot of people who are like, oh, well, I love horror movies, but I haven't really, found books that I like to read. And then, we have like a whole slasher table and they love that. It's just like, different variations on that, like, person chasing you around with a knife type trope, and it's like, silly and gory and fun. And there's like the age appropriate type things in the kids section as well. And so it's really gratifying to help people find a love of reading. It's you we don't I think that one of the things as a bookseller that's really exciting is helping to foster that and not necessarily have to be like, oh, well, you have to read a certain type of genre, a certain type of thing to be a reader. Any
Right.
audiobooks are also great. We have a
Mhm.
collaboration with Libro FM, so you can still support a local indie bookstore and listen to audiobooks. So it's awesome. Like I truly am just like any way you want to get your books is great. That's something I think is important.
Yeah, that's
Great.
awesome. Do you have any kid events? Do you do
Yeah,
any?
we do. They're not as common. We had more during in like the October season. We have
Okay.
like YA specific book launches. I will say we usually see adults. It's hard because new books come out on Tuesdays. So it's hard with school schedules when you have like the new book launches, because kids, they have homework, they need to go to school the next day.
Yeah.
But like we've done some collaborations with the New York Public Library where we did like a story time with kids. That was really fun.
Nice.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we've done some different stuff where we've had other readings and things. But yeah, no, it's something that's definitely on my personal like goals is to keep increasing like the number of kids events we have, and also like just we doing some partnerships with schools is great. We did have a field trip. There's this really awesome high school teacher who has like a whole seminar that she teaches like horror literature, and they actually took a class field trip to the store, and that was really
Oh,
cool.
That's
nice.
awesome.
That's so fun.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I wish
around
they
when
had
I was
that
a
when we were
kid.
in school.
Yeah, I know.
I
That's
know.
what-
I was the coolest
I
class
wouldn't go on a
ever.
field trip to Twist the Spine.
Yeah.
Well, then we had scholastic book fairs,
Yes,
but
exactly.
those were so fun
Still have
too.
those. They still have
They
them.
still have them, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
My son just came home with the pamphlet today from school, so
Oh,
they
exciting.
still have them. It's more online though, like that you can choose the books online. It's not so much going and like actually picking up the book.
Touching them.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, they have it.
They
So,
do have it. They do have it, but every time I send him and he picks which ones he wants to get before he goes, when he gets there, a lot of times they don't have it.
Oh, that's fair.
okay.
So it's easier for me to just order it because then he'll
Yeah.
get what he wants. So
Yeah, it's nice that they have that option, actually.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I do like that they do actually have the physical books and things there that the kids can kind of
Yeah.
touch and look through first. And so it's actually nice. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so I have a next question. This is a fun question, I think. So, if your bookstore was haunted, which horror author would you want as the ghost?
Ooh, this is fun. What author would I want as the ghost? Oh man. I mean, we joke that Clay already haunts the store. So like that seems like the perfect answer because he's there all the time and he's such a big advocate. He moderates so many events.
Yeah.
He would be a very friendly ghost, I feel like. But if I had to choose, I mean, like also like how cool would it be if Stephen King was the like ghost
Yeah.
thing? You could like prove like, oh yeah, he chose to haunt here.
Yeah.
It is an old building, and I keep hoping that we'll get, a ghost. It's been around for like since like I think the early 1900s. It was a lingerie shop at one point. We like found a picture of like the old storefront, which was really cool. But I was like, man, I was just like, I'm like disappointed with how unhaunted it is. But I'm like, I just need to like make up a ghost and like stories, and maybe like it'll like kind of like.
I have to say, your garden is super eerie with that tree, that
Yes,
big
I love the
tree
tree.
trunk there.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. It's
Yes.
such a great place to read your books, to have your coffee, your wine. You guys have done an amazing job.
Thank you.
I think you have to maybe have a seance there, and maybe you can.
Yeah, maybe you'll
Something
bring
like, I gotta
some.
be careful. Yeah, totally.
That would actually be a lot of fun, I think.
We do sometimes books will just fall off the shelves, so we're like, oh, is
No, are you
No.
serious?
Yeah, things will just kind of like fall off, and I'm just like, oh, maybe there's one that's coming to take up shop.
That's like in Ghostbusters. Have you seen Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
In the beginning,
Oh, yeah.
in the library where the books
Yes,
are coming
exactly.
out.
Yep.
Just like that.
Yeah, that would be great. So maybe that would be the type of ghost that I would want is the
Okay.
one
all
that
right.
just like doesn't do too much damage, but just kind of every once in a while, if they're unhappy, just kind of like throws the book off.
So funny.
All right. So now we are going into the fun segment. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to shoot some rapid fire questions for you and have some fun. All right.
Okay.
First question. Favorite horror movie?
Ooh, probably The Thing by John Carpenter. I got to meet him when he came to the city for his band because he also does the music, and I was definitely
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
And also the scientist aspect, I like. nerd
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see I'm sorry, did you see the remake of
I
it?
haven't.
It's pretty good too,
It's
I
pretty good.
gotta say.
Okay. I know
Yeah.
I
The
always am eerie of
female
like,
lead.
The female lead, yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
I also really love Alien, and our cat is named Ripley, so that's also good.
Oh,
I love that.
That's great.
I love that.
Oh. Next question. Favorite final girl in a novel or a movie or both?
Ooh, I mean, Stephen Graham Jones wrote My Heart's a Chainsaw, and so the main character is Jade, and you'll see a lot of like Jade is my final girl, so I could definitely feel like a strong
Oh,
attachment to
yeah.
that. Um, in terms of like the slasher movies, I mean the original Halloween, I'm like such a one trick pony. Like I
Yeah.
got like the original John Carpenter. I'm so sorry. Yep,
no,
so
that's
No, I mean
great.
those are classics. Can't go wrong with that.
You can't, yeah, exactly. Okay. Do you have a favorite subgenre of horror?
Yeah, I do. My favorite, which I feel like maybe you guys can give me movie recommendations, is more on like the cosmic eldritch side. I really like that. You know, I mean, H.P. Lovecraft is extremely problematic, and I don't really love him as
Yeah.
an author, but the genre I really like, a subgenre I really love. And it's just that feeling of like kind of descending into madness, and then the like these crazy gods that are so overpowered that like humans are ants, and it's like you just like there's not much you can do about it. I just those stories are the ones that like really got me hooked to begin with, and that's what I really gravitate towards.
Nice.
Nice.
We'll have to think of some good stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to
I
send
know.
me some recs. I
Yes.
don't really know that many in
I
the.
was just thinking of Color Out of Space with Nicolas Cage.
Oh yes, I do love a good
Oh,
Nick Cage movie. We did a whole Nick Cage binge like during lockdown, and that was
oh,
really great.
that's cool.
He does a lot of
There's,
those kind of movies.
there's
Would
another
Mandy
movie
be
I'm trying to
considered horror?
mhm.
Yeah, I really liked Mandy. That was a really
Mandy, yeah.
Oh,
fun
Mandy,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like Mandy.
yeah.
There was another movie that maybe some of you can think of the name. It was with Ryan Quatin, and he was remember he was stuck
Oh,
in the
he was
bath.
stuck in the bathroom with that alien monster thing.
Yeah, I gotta
Oh,
think
that
of
was a
the
freaky movie.
that
Oh,
that movie was crazy.
oh.
I
Yeah, that
didn't want
one.
to say anything because it's gonna
You don't
give
want,
things
yeah, you
away.
don't want to really
So,
give
but
anything
yeah,
away. Oh,
that was pretty
oh
pretty
man, now
like
I gotta look it up.
yeah.
Okay.
I was that's what
Yeah,
I was thinking about as like an alien kind of cosmic
Yeah.
glorious,
and
glorious.
glorious it's called.
Glorious. Okay, cool. I'll have to add it
Yeah.
to my list.
You have to let us know what you think about it.
Yeah.
It was a little bit nuts, I gotta say, but fun anyway. Um okay, what is your most overrated horror novel?
Ooh. It's probably a Stephen King, I think, probably. Look, he's great and he like
Yeah.
got so many people into it. My first one was Carrie, like that, like, you know, when I was in high school, I loved it. I might say, ooh, like maybe controversial it. It's
Yeah.
Mm.
massive. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen the book, but it
Oh,
was
Yes.
yeah,
like
it's
Oh,
two
I
huge.
have it.
novels.
I
Yeah.
have it.
You know, we did some of the screenings of the Welcome to Derry of the new TV show, which is actually
Yeah.
looks pretty great. And like I've watched, you know, we watched the episodes like while we were screening them. That was fun. So I do think like depending on like which one you're watching, like the movies are really great and everything. But the book as a whole, you know, it's great, but it's just maybe some editing would have been good. It's such a tome.
It's,
You can really,
Yeah.
you know, use it to as a doorstop.
Seriously.
yeah.
Okay. And the last question here, a horror book that actually scared you.
Yeah. So this is the second most common question we get. You know, like what is a
Okay.
book that like genuinely scared you? For me, the one that my go-to recommendation is always Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman, which
Mm.
you might recognize him because he wrote like Bird Box, and
Oh,
also
Oh,
oh, I think there's another like a lot of his books have been adapted into movies too because he's really good at like writing scary things. It did get picked up, so it will be
mhm.
coming out soon, I think, as a movie.
oh.
So I will probably not be watching it. I'm sure it will be very scary. Yeah, it's I don't know
I'll
exactly.
grab the book from the store.
Yeah, we always that's another one that sells really well because that's what people always ask it. So that's one that I recommend. That's like if you want something that's scary, but not necessarily like some people want the overtly gory and violent, right? Because like everybody, what is scary to you is different. So
Right.
it's like, what is something that like creeps you out versus like disgusts you, right? Like there's like kind of different levels of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that one is like just genuinely like creeping you out. That's a good one, and it's a classic haunted house story. It's great. Um, and then like if people want like the extreme gore or violence, so when we go to the splatterpunk, for me too. Also, like I grew up Catholic, and even though I'm not like a Catholic practicing at this point, something about demons and possessions
Yeah.
still
Mm.
gets me, even though I don't
That's
really want
me.
it to.
Yep.
So the Come Closer by Sarah Gran is a novella that the end just like, oh, it just like totally creeps me out.
Oh,
It's a possession story, and just like it's just this, yeah, it just gets
I'll
really
have to think
creepy.
about that one.
Yeah. And then yes, anything like the possession horror can also like that for me, that's just like something that like it doesn't have to be overtly gory, but just that, lack of control and like something's
Yeah.
inside you, like you can't do that
Oh
type of
yeah,
stuff.
totally,
Like
totally.
I will not watch The Exorcist. Like I know that it's like such a great movie and everything, and I'm
Oh.
just
Oh,
like,
never
no, that's
still?
it's a little too much for me. So
That one's
Mm.
pretty, yeah.
That's my favorite horror movie of all
yeah,
time, but it's also the scariest one I've ever seen. Like
and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
anytime I ever see it, I'm like the same. I'm the same. I grew up Catholic, but it's like, not practicing now, but it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. It's been
It
bred into
stays.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, there's just something genuinely creepy that to this day there are priests that are exorcists. Like it's not like they don't
Yeah.
really talk about it, if you go to
Right.
like modern
Yeah.
church, but they do have them still. And I'm just like, is this like a thing? I don't think so. As a scientist, I'm like, no way. But like, that little inside, I'm like, no, no thanks.
Like and now there's a few different Conjuring movies, but like
Yes.
even The Conjuring, when
Yep.
I first saw the original, like I was like, I'm constantly like, how are they doing this? Why are they doing this? I would not be there. I would not be
Yeah.
like, speaking in the middle of the movie, like, get out of there!
Yeah,
No way! There's
exactly.
no, you would not find Angie where they're doing any kind of exorcism or any kind of thing like that. Sorry.
They had a TV show a little while back called Evil.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
on CBS, and it was all about it was a group. It was a priest. I think it was like a scientist or a
Oh man.
psychologist, and they would work for the church
Oh god.
to try and yeah, the people will come with either possession stories or just unusual things happening, and they would have to come and try and investigate and stuff. So they it was a few seasons. It was actually pretty
It,
good.
it was a
That was a
good
crazy show
show.
too,
I
but
bet.
that was
Yeah.
actually pretty good though. And it was very
Hmm.
into the church. Like they talked a lot about the church
Yeah.
in that
Totally.
show
I've
and
been
everything.
I've been revisiting my like Catholic roots. I was sick a couple weeks ago and I started watching Midnight Mass on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny because like there's just like little things that like when they have like the mass services. So I was like, oh my gosh, I like totally forgot about all of this. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the first episode, he's like wearing the wrong color like robes, and like the woman notices it. I'm like, oh, that's right. Like this color, you gotta have like the right color robes on and everything. For some reason, like that one, like I don't know how spoily you guys get, but like that certain type of horror like wasn't as bad for me. But yeah, I don't know what it
Yeah.
is about like the demon and the possession horror that it just really gets me, even though I don't want it to.
Midnight Mass was very wordy.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's what made it seem a little bit more tame, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
It,
more small town, like just getting to know the character. There's not a lot.
Mhm.
I'm not a jump scares person. I think that's what it comes down to. Like a
Okay.
book, you can't do a jump scare at the end of the day, right? It's a book.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it can't scream and like jump out at you.
Right.
Right.
So the type of horror they have to do in a book is going to be very different than like what you see in a movie. And so
Right.
I think the things that I am drawn toward, because like and it's same thing, like I don't really go to a haunted house because again, it's just that
Okay.
the jump scare, which is like totally like awesome if that's what you're into. But for me, it just is like, okay, my adrenaline is already high. Like I don't need another so like the horror that I gravitate towards is like I love Silence of the Lambs, for example. Like that is like
Okay.
building a suspense, like that overall tension. and like it is a little bit more conversational. Like the
Right.
really got into Hitchcock again over COVID, like like all of those psychological suspense.
Yeah.
Somehow I never had Psycho like spoiled for me too. So when I watched the end, I was like, "What?" And
Oh,
Jason
Oh,
was like,
wow.
"How did you not know this was the ending?" So
That's
that was also
awesome though.
funny. Yeah.
You know what I loved is I saw Psycho with live score by the New York Philharmonic, and that
Oh,
was
that's
the most
awesome.
amazing event that I've ever been to. I love live score.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's great. Jason's a musician too. So yay,
oh.
yay
Oh,
live music.
nice.
We
Nice.
went, Angie, we went to another, we,
Nosferatu, we saw Nosferatu
We saw
live
I think
Oh,
score.
that's cool.
the
Yeah.
live score.
there was another live, I didn't go to that. You guys
No,
went, I
yeah, it was
think.
me and
There was
Andrew.
another live score event that we went to. I think it was in Brooklyn. This was like years ago though. Um,
We've been to a
it was
few.
an older movie. I forget what it was, but that was fun. It
They do
was
Phantom
a
of the
lot
Opera
of fun.
sometimes too. Like they've done those. Like
Oh
that's a
yeah,
great one. Yeah.
that would be
Oh,
fun.
was it the Lodger?
The
Oh yes, the
Lodger.
Lodger.
The
Yes, thank
Lodger.
you, Sandra. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was so
that
good.
was a good one
There's,
too.
it's fun to go to the ones that are the silent movies, the very old
Yeah.
movies that
Yeah.
just,
Yes,
yeah, it's
yes.
great.
Um, oh, I was gonna say, so Sandra and I went a couple months ago. They had there's this thing, it's called the Edgar Allan Poe Experience.
Oh,
I
the
don't know if you've
Speakeasy.
heard of it. It was a speakeasy.
Oh, how
And it's
was it?
basically, it was a lot of fun. We didn't know what to expect.
Sure.
And it was basically, they told four Poe stories, and each story, it was actors, and they would tell each story, and each story was paired with a beverage, with a
Oh,
drink.
cool.
So before each story, they would come out and pass drinks around to the audience, and then they would tell the story. So it was a lot of fun, and they rented this kind of a space in a church. I think it was a
Yeah,
church,
Just
it looked
church,
like an
right?
old church. Yeah.
and it was really nice, and they decorated the space, and it was a lot of fun. They go around. I feel like they go around the
They
country and they
travel around
do.
the country. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. That's
So
awesome. Yeah, no, that would be fun. We did a celebration for Edgar Allan Poe's birthday. It was I think January 19th. So that was fun where we had someone come
yeah,
and
yeah,
kind of talk because he lived in New York for a while too. So
Yeah, the
even
yes.
though he died in
Bronx.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They had I think we did this the same again, Angie, like a few years ago. We went to a walking tour. Remember when we
Yes,
stopped by Edgar Allan Poe's
the
house and
cottage.
a
Yeah,
cottage or
and
something? Yeah.
I visited the cottage many times. It's actually part of a cultural institution group in New York, in the Bronx. It's like a small little,
yep,
home, but I was getting the creeps in there, to be
I
honest.
bet. Yeah, no, like we have a lot of great like classics, Poe lived here, Lovecraft lived here for a while
Yes,
too
yes.
in Brooklyn. Yeah, there's like a lot of like good creepy authors who like have made their way through the city.
That's awesome. Do you have any plans to open up a second location?
Not at the moment. We opened in September, so just getting that off the ground, I'm like, whew, okay, we did it. Like, let's focus on
Yeah.
that.
I think they're plugging their areas to see if you'll get one up in Newburgh or Yonkers.
Yes. I would love, that like I would love to have another location, but I also just love there to be more horror bookstores in general.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my plug is like again coming from that science background is so in movies, for example, horror is the number one grossing, like the fastest growing genre. And then in literature, it's in the top five.
Mm.
So you see all of these like romance bookstores, and like a lot of genre specific, specifically romance bookstores opening up all across the country, which is awesome. But what I would love is to see a wave of horror bookstores. So
Yeah,
us,
absolutely.
just like more horror bookstores, because that just helps everyone, helps the horror authors have more places to like go and like, we have so much fun with the movie nights too. Like it's just
Mm.
for us, we really want to be a home for horror. Like it doesn't have to be just literature. Like
Right.
anything like that's on like the creepy side of life. It's just like a place for us to all come. Theater, movies, film and literature and podcasts and everything. It's really fun. So I'm hoping. I wouldn't say never. Like when there's always a,
Sure.
I'd love to have another location. Just no plans yet. Just still working
Okay.
on our
Okay. Okay.
on our
Okay.
shop.
We'll give you some areas to
Okay.
open in the future.
Okay.
I knew that was coming. I knew
I had to say that.
it.
Anyway, So do you have upcoming events at the store that you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, I we're really excited. So, let me look up the exact date so I don't say it wrong. But we're very excited because we're having our first indie publisher day.
Oh,
So it's going to be all smaller presses,
Nice.
similar like horror movies where you get stuff like from like these smaller groups
right.
that really get to try something different. We see the same thing with uh that's yeah, so that's going to be March 22nd from 12 to 5. And you just see lots of really great stories coming out of smaller presses that don't necessarily fit in a box. Like I think that another thing that's interesting about horror is that lots of times it's horror plus another genre, right? Like you don't always see something that's like
Yeah,
straight horror. Like, like Get Out is political commentary and horror.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you can have your like slasher movie, but sometimes it's like historical plus horror. So it's fun with the indies because they try things that like a traditional like publisher would have trouble like marketing because they were like, how would we talk about this? And the indies are like, yeah, let's do this creepy, weird, like just totally out there story. Sometimes it's like just more weird than like,
Yeah.
over like really like scary. And like that's what we're here for. We're just for anybody who's got like kind of a weird, nasty, creepy book, like we're happy to promote it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then we were really excited. So we're starting to do some partnerships with Night Owl Video. We don't have anything
Yeah.
right now, but last night we just showed The Abyss on Laserdisc, so that was really cool.
Oh,
Not
Wow.
your like traditional horror, but it's a little
oh, good.
claustrophobic.
no, that's yeah.
And so that was really fun. And we're hoping to do more events like that in the future too, where we have like bring back the physical media and like being able to show it at the shop has been really cool.
That's amazing. Lauren, thank you so much. Do you want to just remind our followers where your store is located and, plug any way to keep in touch with you and learn about all the events coming up?
Yeah, so we're located in Brooklyn, specifically Williamsburg. Our address is 306 Grand Street. It's Grand and Havermeyer. You can get to us from like either the L train or the G train or the J/M train. So there's like it's a little bit of like an 8-minute walk, but it's not too bad. And then we have a ton of events. I have a hard time keeping track of them all. So you can go to where Instagram is the most up to date. We're at Twisted Spine Books. We also have a website, which is twistedspinebooks.com. That has all of our events on it. We have some pre-order campaigns as well. So if there's certain books you're looking for. And then also, if anybody is interested in doing like an event with us, we're always, excited to like hear about different opportunities, and our website's on there, and you can contact us that way as well.
That is amazing. Maybe we'll keep that in mind,
Yeah.
ladies.
No, if you guys want to come intro a movie sometime, that would be super fun. We would
Oh
love to have
yeah.
you.
That's brilliant.
Cool.
So thank you again, Lauren, for joining us. This has been we've been talking about having you on for a long time, so we're really appreciative. It was a great conversation. And to our followers, make sure you guys visit the store in Williamsburg. You're gonna have a blast. And as always, thanks for checking out our podcast, Horror Flick Chicks. Make sure you're following us on all our socials on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. So thank you, Lauren. Peace,
Thank
love,
you so
and
much.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
horror.
much.
much, Lauren. This was great.
Peace, love, and horror.
Bye.
Meow.
That's the end.